Hey everyone, welcome back to Bryce Unplugged. Happy Saturday. As you can see, I'm in the middle of building a new studio. So that's what my Saturday is like. How's yours? Anyway, grab a coffee, pull up a chair. If you're already sitting down and your body is currently deciding whether standing up is worth the paperwork, welcome. You are among friends. Today I want to talk to you about something that came up for me after Who Knew Week, because this week we talked about Parkinson's research getting weird. And I mean weird. The kind of weird where you read the headline, stare at the screen, blink twice, and think, is this science or did somebody give a raccoon a Wi Fi password and access to a medical journal? Because some of the stuff we talked about honestly sounded made up. But underneath all the weirdness, there was something bigger, and that's hope. And that is what I want to talk to you about today, hope versus hype. Because when you live with Parkinson's long enough, you become careful with hope. You want it, you need it, you look for it, but you have to, you've been disappointed enough times that your heart starts wearing a helmet. And by the end of this episode, I want to give you a new Bryce-ism that I think sums up the whole week. One sentence, one thought. One thing I think every person with Parkinson's needs when the next headline shows up promising something really big. Because hope can keep you going, but hype can wear you out. And that line between the two, that's where a lot of us live. When I was first diagnosed, hope felt different. I was 40 years old. And when someone tells you that you have Parkinson's, your brain starts looking for exits, right? You start thinking, okay, what fixes this? What slows this? What stops this? Who's working on it? Where do I go? What do I take? What do I do? How do I get ahead of this thing before it gets ahead of me? And honestly, that's normal. That's survival. That's your heart grabbing a flashlight in a room that suddenly went dark. So back then, every new article felt huge to me. Every new treatment sounded important. Every new study made me think, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the thing. Maybe it's the one that changes everything. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. When you're newly diagnosed, hope is oxygen. You need something to hold on to. You need to believe that the story is not over. You need to know that people are working on this. But when you live with Parkinson's for a while, you start to realize something. Research matters, science matters, new treatment matters. But Parkinson's doesn't move at headline speed, does it? The headline says breakthrough, and your body says, cool, my meds still wore off at 217. The article says promising, and your toe says, that's adorable. We're still curling in the morning. The internet says miracle, and your gut says, I have decided to operate like a fax machine from 1998. And that is where hope gets complicated because you want to stay open. You want to stay excited. You want to believe better things are coming. But you also don't want every headline picking you up and throwing you around the room like emotional laundry. And that can get exhausting. And I think a lot of us know that feeling. If you do, give me a me too in the comments. A new Parkinson headline comes out, and part of you goes, yes, please, let this be something. And another part of you goes, okay, slow down. What does it actually say? Was this in people? Was it in mice? Was it a trial? Is this one person? Is it available? Is it safe? Or is someone trying to sell me a powder that tastes like regret and costs $99 a month? Because let's be honest, Parkinson's has enough side effects that we don't need to be adding scamming to that list. And that's why I think we have to talk about the difference between hope and hype. Hope says this is interesting. Let's learn more. Let's ask questions. Let's talk to our doctor. Let's stay curious. And hype says, this is the answer. Buy it now. Don't ask questions. Hope respects what people with Parkinson's are going through, and hype uses what people with Parkinson's are going through. And that's what bothers me, because people with Parkinson's are not desperate because we're foolish. We're desperate because this disease is hard. Care partners are not desperate because they're naive. They're desperate because they love someone and they want to help. That's not weakness. That's love. That's fear. That's exhaustion. So when a new thing shows up and says, maybe this helps, of course we pay attention. I pay attention. You pay attention. We all pay attention. But I think we need to learn how to hold hope in one hand and wisdom in the other. Not fear, not cynicism, but wisdom. Because hope without wisdom can become hype. But wisdom without hope can become bitterness. And I don't want either of those things driving the bus, especially hype. Hype's a terrible driver. Hype speeds through speed zones, ignores red lights, tailgates clinical trials, and yells, "Trust me," while wearing sunglasses indoors. No, thank you. I want hope driving, but I want wisdom to be the passenger seat holding the map. And that's the balance. That's what Who Knew reminded me of this week. Because some of the research we talked about this week was really strange, right? The kind of strange that makes you laugh at first, and then you think, wait a second, there might actually be something here. And I love that. I love when science surprises me. I love when someone asks a question that nobody else thought to ask. I love when a new idea comes from a place that you didn't expect. And I love when research reminds us that Parkinson's is not just one thing. It's not just a tremor, it's not just stiffness, medication timing. It's mood, motivation, balance, gut health, sleep, energy, confidence. It's everything that happens behind the scenes while the rest of the world says, you look fine. And when researchers start looking at those hidden parts, that gives me hope. Not hype, but hope. Because hope does not always look like a cure. Sometimes hope looks like being taken seriously. Sometimes hope looks like a doctor finally asking you about your constipation. Sometimes hope looks like a medication conversation that you didn't know you could have. Sometimes hope looks like a strange idea that might help somebody walk more safely. And sometimes hope looks like research saying maybe the gut matters more than we thought. You know what? Sometimes hope looks like science getting weird enough to finally catch up with how weird Parkinson's actually really feels. Because let's be honest, Parkinson's is weird. It is. One day our hand doesn't want to write. The next day, your foot freezes in a doorway like it's buffering. Then your meds kick in late because apparently your stomach has decided to run on dial-up internet. Then someone tells you to reduce stress, which is really helpful because nothing reduces stress like being told to reduce stress. Thank you, Brenda. I'll just schedule my nervous system for a spa day. So yes, if Parkinson's is weird, then maybe some of the research is going to have to be weird too. And maybe that's okay. Maybe we don't need every hopeful thing to look like polished and perfect. Maybe sometimes hope shows up wearing mismatched socks and carrying a clipboard. But here's the part I don't want us to lose. We can be hopeful without being careless. We can be curious without being gullible. We can be excited without handing over our common sense. And we can laugh at the weirdness and still respect science. And that's important because humor helps. Humor does not mean that we're not taking Parkinson's seriously. It means that Parkinson's does not get to take every room hostage. I can joke about weird research and still know this disease is brutal. I can laugh at a headline and still know someone watching had a terrible night. I can say who knew and still know there are people sitting at home scared, tired, stiff, foggy, anxious, and wondering what their future looks like. Humor is not denial. Sometimes humor is how we stay standing. Sometimes laughter is grief wearing a baseball cap and trying to keep the room from collapsing. And honestly, I think our community understands that. We're not laughing because Parkinson's is funny. We're laughing because we're still here. And there is a difference. Now stay with me here because I still want to get to that Bryce-ism here at the end, but that one sentence, I think it sums up the whole thing, the whole thing. But before I get there, I want to say this. The danger is not just hype. The danger is also letting disappointment kill your curiosity. And that happens. You get burned enough by big promises, and eventually every new study makes you roll your eyes. You see the word breakthrough, and you immediately think, sure, I've heard that before. You see some big headline and you think, okay, what are you selling? And listen, I get it. I've had that reaction. Parkinson's teaches you to read the fine print. But I don't want Parkinson's to make me so guarded that I can't feel hope anymore. I don't want to become somebody who only believes bad news because good news has disappointed me before. That would be another thing Parkinson takes. And it doesn't get that. It already gets enough. It does not get my curiosity. It does not get my ability to wonder. And it does not get my ability to say, maybe. Maybe this matters. Maybe this helps somebody. Maybe this leads to the next question. Maybe this is not the answer, but maybe it is a step forward. And that is real hope. Not the shiny kind, but the steady kind. The kind that doesn't need fireworks. The kind that can sit quietly beside you on a bad day and say, we are not done yet. And that matters. Because if you're living with Parkinson's, or if you love someone who is, you need hope that can survive real life. You need hope that still works when the meds are late. You need hope that still works when you slept terribly. And you need hope that still works when your body feels like it's assembled by a committee that has never met. And you need hope that does not disappear the first time a study says more research needed. Because guess what? More research is almost always needed. That's how research works. It's not failure, it's a process. And I know that phrase can be annoying. More research needed. Of course it is. More laundry needed too. But nobody writes a peer-reviewed paper about my hamper. Still, it matters. Because careful science is not the enemy of hope. Careful science is what protects hope from becoming nonsense. And that is what I want for this community. I want us to stay curious. I want to stay open. I want to keep watching the research. I want to keep asking questions. But I also want to protect ourselves. Because not everything with a medical word is medical wisdom. Not everything called natural is automatically safe. Not everything with a testimony is evidence. Not every doctor recommended label means what people think it means. And not every headline deserves your whole heart. And that's big. Not every headline deserves your whole heart. Some deserve your attention. Some deserve a conversation with your doctor. Some deserve a raised eyebrow and a slow sip of coffee. And some deserve to be thrown directly in the trash bin with the email saying a prince needs your banking information. So, if you're newly diagnosed or even years into this, I want to give you permission today. You don't have to chase every headline. You don't have to try everything someone sends you. You don't have to panic buy your way through Parkinson's. You don't have to rebuild your entire life by Tuesday because someone in a Facebook group said their neighbor's brother's pickle juice changed everything. Slow down, breathe, ask questions, bring things to your doctor, talk to your pharmacist, learn your body, track what matters, find people who understand, and let hope be part of your life without letting hype grab the steering wheel. Because you still have a life to live today. And that's the part I want to keep coming back to. I can care about the future without surrendering today. I can watch the research without putting my life on pause. I can hope for tomorrow without forgetting to show up today. Because if I wait for Parkinson's to be fixed before I live, then Parkinson's wins twice. It gets my body and it gets my today. And I'm not okay with that. And that's why I keep saying do life today. Doesn't mean I've stopped hoping for better. It means I'm not waiting for better to start living. And there's a big difference. So yes, keep watching the research. Yes, keep talking about the strange stuff. And yes, I will keep laughing when science wanders into the room wearing a banana hat and holding a clipboard. But I'll also keep living. Messy, imperfect, sometimes stiff, tired, hopeful, annoyed, sometimes laughing at things I probably shouldn't laugh at, but living. Because hope is not supposed to replace your life. Hope is supposed to help you keep living it. All right, you made it this far. So here is the Bryce-ism of the episode, the one I was telling you about earlier. And I think this one sums up the whole week. Here it is. Hope is allowed in the room. Hype can wait in the driveway with the raccoon, the Wi-Fi password, and whatever supplement ad it crawled in with. That's it. Because we need hope. We need research. We need science. We need curiosity. We need weird questions. But we don't need every headline bursting through the door yelling breakthrough like it just found the cure in a gas station smoothie. So stay hopeful, stay curious, ask better questions, laugh at the weird stuff, talk to your doctor, and please do not let hype drive the bus. It has no license, no insurance, and absolutely no business near your nervous system. So I have a question for you today. How do you handle hope? Do you get excited when you see a new Parkinson's research? Do you avoid it because you're tired of being disappointed? Do you feel hopeful and skeptical all at the same time? Because I do. Drop that in a comment below and tell me. And you know what? You can write the whole story or just write one word. You can write hope or hype or careful, curious, tired, still here, whatever fits. Because I think a lot of us are living in that in-between space. We want to believe, but we don't want to be fooled. We want to hope, but we need it to be honest. And maybe your comment will help somebody else feel less strange for feeling both. If you're new here, welcome. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Come with us for a ride. This is not just a channel, not just a podcast. It's a community. And if you want a deeper community, join the club. It's free. It's open. It's waiting for you. The link is in the description below. And as always, I want you to know this. I love you so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey in life. And until next time, I want you to keep showing up. I want you to keep being real. And I want you to keep doing life today. Love you. I'll see you in the next episode.